For you did not receive a spirit that makes you a slave again to fear, but you received the spirit of sonship, and by him we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children. Now, if we are children, then we are heirs, heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ, if indeed we share in his sufferings, in order that we may also share in his glory. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing to the glory that will be revealed in us. The creation waits in eager expectation for the sons of God to be revealed. Speak, Lord, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen. What is fear? Some people have described it as false evidence appearing real. It's a primary weapon of the enemy, and it is certainly the opposite of faith. If faith is a divine imperative, right? Faith is important for salvation. Faith is important for every growth, every aspect of spiritual growth. Fear, on the other end, is a demonic, destructive force. Faith causes fluency in the spirit realm for the outflow of the power of God. And fear obstructs and constipates and chokes the flow of what God wants to do. Faith is like the divine ATM card for the release of God's power and revelation and the purposes of God to be revealed through us as we partner with him. That's faith. On the other end, fear is the lengthening of that ATM line, the jamming of the door, the spur of divine abortion that makes you just can't bother, let me go somewhere else. To steal identity and steal purpose. Interestingly, this passage that we look at, verse 15 there, it starts by talking about, the identity of the believer. And it says, you do not receive a spirit that makes you again a slave to fear, but you receive the spirit of sonship. It pits our identities as children of God in the face of fearlessness. It says, you are no longer a slave to fear, but you are a son, meaning being a son is so opposite to fear. Fear is on the other side of this whole interaction. You're a son. It is therefore integral from this verse. It's integral to our identity that as children of God, we are fearless. It is in our blood, it is in our DNA. That's who we are called to be. You are no longer a slave to fear. That fear business is done. It's the past. You're a son. We receive the spirit of sonship. Interestingly, this concept of sonship, it does not rest in the one called son or daughter. The concept points automatically to who the father is. Isn't that interesting? It's an eclipse kind of thing. You know something is going on, but you want to know why is it so important that we're called son and daughter? What's about this thing of sonship? Well, the father is important in this whole equation because there's nobody walking around saying, oh, I'm a son and I'm a daughter. If the father, if there's a situation there's a certain weight and a certain depth of meaning that is brought to that statement when father is one of reputation, power and authority. And that's a situation that is brought across. That's a statement that is being made in this passage by Paul. And so my first point in breaking the bondage of fear is to pursue God. Pursue God. Because sonship starts first with who the Father is. God, He is the omnipotent one. He is the omniscient one, the omnipresent one, and the loving Father. And these are important as we try to understand who we are. It's important to know who He is because He is our Father. And in these particular aspects of who He is, guide us in terms of how we relate then to fear and life in general. My Father is in control of the whole world. Wrap your minds around that for 1 second. He spoke the world into existence. He himself knows the boundaries of the universe. He spoke and he separated light from darkness. He's the one that did all of that. His power knows no bounds. It is mind-blowingly crazy, the level of power that he has. And that is the God that we serve. It makes an automatic statement against fear in our lives. It almost makes it incomprehensible why we would even fear. Because he is thoroughly and comprehensively 100% in control. He is Jehovah Sabaoth, the Lord of hosts. Every knee must bow in heaven and on earth and under the earth. Every prime minister, every single leader of opposition, every single military leader, every king and monarchy that still exists in this whole world must bow to the King of Glory. So among world leaders, we stand boldly representing the King as sons and daughters. Omnipotence, it breaks the fear of what you can't control. Spending time with God, the omnipotent one, it breaks the fear of what you can't control. Romans 8:28, such a beautiful verse. All things work together for good for those that love the Lord and are called according to his purposes. That's a blanket statement for your whole life. There's so much freedom in that verse. It breaks the fear of failure. God's omnipotence. God's omniscience breaks the fear of the unknown. He knows everything. He knows everything. He knows more about your little toe than you know about your little toe. The span of his knowledge is ridiculously incredible. He knows every single thing. The distance the earth is from the sun. He knows everything about the entire universe. And so we are talking about a God who is fully in control and he's fully knowledgeable. Psalm 139 verse 16, it says, all the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. He knows what's going to happen to you before it happens to you. And he's in control of the fact that it's going to happen to you. It's a rigged system, you know. It's quite rigged. So he's omnipotent, he's omniscient, he's omnipresent. Not only is he in control, not only does he know what's going to happen, but he's already there. He's already there, like in the future. And in the past. And he's right here, right now. It's crazy. It sets a stage of fearlessness. What reason do I have to fear? If he's in control, if he knows everything, and he breaks the fear of abandonment, he breaks the fear of loneliness because he's there. And he says, Matthew 28:20, I will be with you always. On top of that, he's a loving father. He breaks the fear of us being used and abused. He's a loving father. I think those four things are just so powerful about God. So amazing about God. And they set the stage for fearlessness. The second thing I would say under pursue God, is pursue God in prayer and in fasting. No, it's not enough just to know things about God. We want to know God, intimately acquainted with His person. When we spend time in prayer, we rub shoulders with the omnipotent one. And some of that power rubs off on us. Yeah, man. So I challenge us as believers, spend at least 1 hour a day in prayer. And I challenge myself again, to spend at least 1 hour a day in prayer. Martin Luther King said, he has so much to do, you have to spend at least 3 hours praying. So there are no excuses, people out there. Challenge us, spend that time, and fast at least once a week. Each of those are whole messages by themselves, right? But that is how it moves from just a knowledge about God to an intimate acquaintance with the God of the universe. So we understand what it means to be a son. Because it's not just hitting our heads, it's hitting our heart. Because we're actually spending that time with Him. Then secondly, pursue identity. First was pursue God, then pursue identity. As a son, my value comes from God. As a son or a daughter, my value comes from God. So I'm not going around trying to get people to value me. I'm already valuable in myself because I'm a child of the King. I'm heir to the throne. You can't give me any value. Who are you? God gives me value. And that breaks the fear of displeasing people. Because I don't. God's opinion, man's opinion. Everybody know what I'm saying? Yes. It breaks the fear of needing to please people. My strength comes from God. That's a part of what it means to be a son. Because if you're on the throne there, we're seated with Him in heavenly realms, right? We're heirs with God and co-heirs with Christ. That comes at a certain level of authority. So intrinsically, by acceptance into the royal kingdom, I am endued with power and authority from heaven. Naturally, it's a natural transaction. If you never know, now you know. You are filled with power. He says, I've given you power to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. That's Luke 10:19. Furthermore, as a son, my citizenship is in heaven. My citizenship is in heaven. What does that exactly look like? It means that if I don't fit in, I know why I don't fit in. Because my citizenship is in heaven. It breaks the fear. It breaks the fear of not fitting in. And then as a son, I love the Lord. I love the Lord. He's my ultimate treasure. And He becomes that audience of one that we live for. And that breaks so much fear. When you live in a way, when you're just like, God, if I could just please you, Lord. When your perspective is one of, Lord, how can I bring you glory at my workplace? How can I bring you glory when I'm on the road? How can I bring you glory and honor and live in such a way that honors you when I'm dealing with people? Because I love you. How can I live in such a way that demonstrates that you are the God of the universe? That you're not some small PR God, but that you are the true boss, the King of the world. When the potency of the beauty of God and the power of God flood our hearts in fasting and in prayer, our identity in God is solidified. We become transformed. And men's faces are put in perspective. And it breaks the fear of criticism. Point 2b, I'm not just a son, but I'm a son with a sword. I am a son with a sword. Part of our identity and getting to know who we are has to do with what we have access to. We have a sword and we have to learn to use that sword. Right? As Auntie Charmaine said, we are at war. We are at war, so we must become acquainted with our weaponry. Isaiah 54 verse 17.